Good morning, everybody. Let's start our meditation practice. Please find your comfortable and relaxed posture. Keep your back straight as much as you can and gently close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths and relax your whole part of your body. Relax your mind. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out softly. Please do it few times. It's helpful to relax your whole body. Observe all the different parts of your body individually, from the top of your head to the tip of your toes, and see if they are relaxed, free from tension or strain. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out softly. Relax. 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 Let's practice loving kindness meditation. Think to yourself, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be peaceful. Understand the meaning of each words deeply and clearly, and repeat them to yourself. Be loving and kind person to yourself. May I be well, may I be happy, may I be peaceful. Practicing self-love, self-compassion, self-loving kindness is greatest way to heal ourselves within. Send your loving thoughts towards to yourself. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be filled with loving kindness. If you become truly loving and kind person to yourself, it's much easier to love others. Feel peaceful and loving thoughts to yourself. May I be healthy. May I be content. May I be at ease. May I be peaceful. May I be filled with loving kindness. Now send your loving thoughts towards your family, your friends, and your loved ones. Even though difficult people, imagine your family, friends, and loved ones. May my parents, husband or wife, boyfriend or girlfriend, the best friend, close friends, children, grandchildren, your best friend, brothers, sisters, your pets. May all my family, friends and loved ones be well, be happy, be peaceful. May they be filled with loving kindness. If you have any difficult time with someone or difficult people in this moment, it could be one of your family member, whoever, without separating them, send your loving thoughts. May all my family, friends and loved ones be healthy, be content, be patient, may they be filled with loving kindness. Now extend all of your loving kindness and compassionate thoughts to all the world. In this world, so many people are suffering mentally and physically. Some people are in danger, fear, anger, hatred, sickness. Some people, they don't have basic needs. Some they don't have family, friends. In this moment, we couldn't help them physically, but we can send our loving thoughts. We can wish to them and bless to them. May all living beings be well, be happy, be may they be filled with loving kindness. May all living beings be healthy, be content, be patient. May they be filled with loving kindness. May they be able to take care of themselves happily. Now, with your loving awareness, slowly turn your attention to your subtle sensation of the breath. We can practice mindfulness breathing meditation. If you want to change your posture anytime, You can change your posture. Do it mindfully and slowly. Be kind to your body. Keep your back straight. It's very helpful to breathe. No need to control your breathing. Send attention to the tip of your nose. Breathe in mindfully. Breathe out mindfully. If you are having thoughts, don't worry. That's our mind's nature. Don't try to push them away. Let them come and go, or let them be. It could be sound, emotion, feelings. Understand about this moment. In this present moment, you are spend time with yourself, focusing your natural ordinary breath, being mindful about each moment. Breathe in mindfully, breathe out mindfully. While you are mindfully and aware about in and out breath, you may experience long breaths in and out, short breaths in and out. Just understand and mindful about I am having long breaths and short breath. Being mindful about each breath. Breathe in mindfully. Breathe out mindfully. This moment is wonderful moment, most important moment, because in this present moment you are being aware about yourself, being mindful about your breath. Breath means life. Being grateful for your practice, your dedication, Make a strong determination to live your breath, live with your breath, being mindful in each moment. Please bring your palms together in front of your heart. Make a strong determination to practice this meditation every day, at least 5-10 minutes. May peace be with you. May all living beings be well, be happy, be peaceful. Thank you very much. Slowly open your eyes. Let's do our chanting practice. If you would like to chant, you can chant with the group. Maybe so many new people are here. There's no rules. If you would like to listen to chanting, that's fine. Or you can continue your practice. It's chanting helpful to calm down your mind, and it's a part of practice. Let's chant page number 4. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyampi sanghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tatiyampi sanghaṃ gacchāmi. Anicca vata sankhara uppada vaya dhammino upajitva niruddhanti tesang upasamosukho sabbhe sattha avera hontu, sabbhe sattha Abhyapacca hontu sabbhe sattha aniga hontu sabbe sattha sukhiyatanang pariharantu mano pubbangama dhamma mano settha manomaya manasace paduttena bhasati va karoti va tato nang dukkha manveti cakkang vahato padam mano pubbangama dhamma mano settha manomaya manasace pasannena sativa karotiva tato nang sukha manveti chayava anapayini. We believe. We believe in generosity towards others. We believe the skillful noble path is marked by generosity. We believe generosity has many levels. Think generously, speak generously, act generously. We believe generosity is the heart of our spiritual practice, and this practice allows us to become more open, accepting, and forgiving. We believe extending generosity to ourselves and others is a direct way of healing division, bringing joy, and nurturing the spiritual community of your years to come. My wish. Their hand will come at all times, both now and forever, a protector for those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with an ocean to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those without light, a place of refuge for those who lack shelter, and a servant to all in need. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the unwise, only the wise, until time I attain their God. Good morning, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful morning. Today we have a Lay Sangha Dhamma talk. Erin Denk. She's a wonderful friend to us, and also she's a long time Sangha member, and also she's one of our Blue Lotus Temple board member, and she's doing amazing work to help and keep this place run. And this is your time, Erin.
How is this? Ironically, I'm going to be talking about right speech, so, okay. Yes, my name is Erin Denk, And I've been attending meditation here for probably almost 20 years. So when Bhante, I suppose, first came to the Unitarian Church here, and then started doing meditation. So it's all, and I'm also part of the board of Blue Lotus Temple. So it's always, though, with great humility and honor that I'm able to stand up here and speak. Usually, we have the monastics who provide the dharma lessons and talk after meditation. Once in a while, those of us that are part of the sangha can come up here. So I'm going to talk about my ideas of right speech. And as always, none of you have to agree with this at all. It's just my opinion. And I will try to do justice as well to what the Buddha has taught about right speech. So I'm going to begin. The Buddha's primary teaching of the Four Noble Truths provides a guide in accepting, understanding, and letting go of suffering in our lives. The last of the Noble Truths, the path to liberation, is the Noble Eightfold Path. Today, I am going to focus on right speech, which is considered part of the moral discipline portion of the path. Buddha gave humans the Eightfold Path as a guide towards reaching freedom from the chains of suffering and embracing peace, harmony, and compassion in all that we do. So, I come from Louisiana, and my family is a mixture of Louisiana Cajun and East Texas Welsh. I was surrounded by words that took the form of stories about everything. Everything was a story. How are y'all doing? Well, let me tell you a story. Words indirectly expressed how I felt or how you would feel. So my great-grandmother was speaking Cajun. I really never understood what she said, but she would tell me, "C'est c'est bon," which meant that's good. Or my grandmother would say, "Bless your heart," which, if y'all know, doesn't necessarily mean a nice thing. There were also times when you were allowed to speak in public. Some of us of a certain generation, at the dinner table, you were seen and not heard. And as well as being brought up in that environment for women, there was proper speech. So you did not say words of anger, you didn't say words of swearing, because it wasn't ladylike. I later learned how to speak my truth in therapy. And then in my clinical training as an art therapist, I learned about reflective speech, trauma-informed speech, relational or feminist speech, and diversity and culturally sensitive speech. In this Dhamma talk, I propose the necessity of right speech and its sister, right listening, in creating authentic and sacred space in our relationships. No matter who we are interacting with, this practice opens doors to compassion rather than conflict, and love rather than hate, even if you both disagree. In all my years of working with people and in my personal life, I have witnessed the power of stopping to listen and then the ability to be heard, the mutuality of being heard. Right speech is a mindful practice which involves greater awareness of our body, our mind, and emotions. Mindfulness in its active self-awareness makes it easier to recognize what we are about to say and offers us the freedom to choose what we say. The Buddha divided right speech into 4 components that we work on daily. Number 1, to abstain from false speech, which would be lying in any form, for example, lying by omission, so keeping out the truth. Number 2, abstaining from slanderous speech, speech which is intended to create conflict, injurious to a person's reputation, or hate speech. And number 3, abstaining from harsh or hateful speech, speech that is uttered in anger and intended to cause the hearer pain, insult, as well as sarcasm is included in this. And then finally, abstaining from idle chatter, which would be gossip. Speech should be aimed at benefiting the individual and society, according to the Buddha. This leads us to what the Buddha emphasized as important aspects in right speech as right listening and silence. The Buddha believed that if your speech is not useful and beneficial, it is better to remain silent. He believed that there was a close link between silence and truth. In right listening, we are called to see speech as not just our speech, but communication that happens between people, Thich Nhat Hanh said, "Deep listening is the foundation of right speech." If we cannot listen mindfully, we cannot practice right speech. No matter what we say, it can never be mindful because we will be speaking only our own ideas and not in response to the other person. So how do we listen? The Buddha focused on listening profoundly, which includes the whole heart, complete presence, and focus to the words of the speaker, and being totally in the present moment while putting aside our egos and actually truly listening. To speak is to express words that carry certain meanings, and to listen is to be conscious of the words that are spoken. My words can assert my truth in such a way that I will not intentionally hurt, but teach. And I like to call this compassionate confrontation. And if the other person doesn't respond as I had hoped, I can restate my truth to them. I can resolve to just let go of my need to be heard by them, or I may just try to practice silence. Gil Fronsdal, so I don't know if you know him, but he's part of the Insight Meditation group. He does many podcasts. And these are his thoughts about when you're not sure of the Buddha's guidelines. So he says to speak, so there's 4 aspects that the Buddha talks about as far as how to speak. So to speak at the appropriate time, to speak honestly, to speak politely, to speak what is beneficial, to speak with goodwill. So Fronsdal says it is best to avoid speaking at a time when it cannot be understood or when it is not useful for the person to whom we are speaking. Even if it is something true and important, it is best to wait for the appropriate situation to say it. Dishonesty takes us in the opposite direction than a path to liberation. Because the goal is to become truthful and authentic in all we do. Dishonesty blocks the path to the goal. Honesty, in contrast, is mindfulness out loud. When done together with the other 5 guidelines, honesty creates trust and ease in everyone. Politeness, respectful speech that expresses respect for others. Instead of demeaning or belittling others, polite speech enhances the dignity of both the person spoken to and the speaker. Speaking only what is beneficial saves a lot of time and effort. Not only does it free us from having to say things that have no value or useful purpose, it also frees us from having to make amends for speech that is not beneficial or brings pain. Speaking with goodwill means to speak in ways fair of others. Without goodwill, the heart will remain closed or numb. With goodwill, our speech supports the continuing opening of our hearts. This is very hard. The reality is humans, at least especially in our country, tend to dissociate from themselves and are quite unaware of their bodies or even what they say. Speech can be used as a weapon and sometimes as a lotion to control others in order for us to get what we want. The space between people can be muddled with fear and anger, but mostly fear. How can you be authentic if you don't feel safe? So, here are some questions and thoughts I ask myself, and I offer to all of you in navigating between authenticity, truth, and the uncertainty of how others will respond or react to you. And again, these are just my opinions. But things to ask. Am I listening but not hearing? So this is about when you're with somebody or even here. What are the hindrances or barriers that prevent me from listening to you? When I hear you talk, who do I see? Who do I hear? How would you describe the space between you and I? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Is it safe? What is the origin of my speech? Is it coming from fear, anger, sadness, hate, hurt? Am I crossing a boundary with my words, crossing over into the other person's personal, emotional, cognitive, spiritual, psychological space? Am I projecting my story onto another? Does my speech match my actions? And how does my body feel when I speak to you or listen to you? Before I speak, do I need to take a breath, pause, and then speak? In other words, practicing self-control rather than just blurting out anything. Sacred space doesn't mean that it is all angelic incense and pure. To me, it means there is mutuality, equanimity, and respect, despite differences in individual stories. Here lies how I see the practice of right speech, as laying the seeds for the sacred space that will then connect to the other aspects of the Eightfold Path, for example, right action. Mindfulness or active awareness slowly helps us see and hear truth. It removes the handheld mirror or the wall we hold up around us and allows us to be authentic human beings. Imagine how the world would be, or our life would be, if right speech and right listening defined our relationships. And that's all. Thank you. Does anyone have any comments or questions for me or complaints or?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Could you say a little more about our speech intruding on another person's space? You said something about that, and I'm curious to.
Like a boundary type of thing?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Being respectful of someone else's space, but also engaging in a meaningful way.
Yes, I think, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is sometimes, and I've been told this, sometimes I've even said this, if you're in a conversation with someone and there's like a difference of opinion or maybe different beliefs, and you say something like, well, you can't believe that, or that's wrong. So when a person states their belief about something or their opinion, and we jump to say it's wrong, or you can't believe that, or you shouldn't believe that. We use words like should. This is where kind of the psychology comes into play, is being mindful of that's a boundary. It's a psychological boundary. It can be a spiritual boundary where you're telling someone how they should believe or what they should feel, that type of thing. And it's very subtle, I think we do it a lot. I think we do, and we don't even know it. So that's an example. Sometimes too, just it can be also verbal, but also nonverbal, where you're kind of talking over someone. You don't let someone finish what they're saying, because again, we're so anxious to say what we want to say. So that can be crossing a boundary. Making assumptions about a person. Oh, well, you go to the Buddhist temple, therefore you're blah blah blah, right? We've all probably experienced that as well. Yeah, things like that. Does that help?
Yes.
Is that what okay. Yeah.
Erin, there's the perennial question about white lies.
Yes. Yes.
So, if you were to ask me, do I look beautiful? I think I can tell a white lie.
Mm-hmm.
I would. So is it okay to agree with someone even if what you're saying is not true?
So you mean to agree with another person if you're,
Right.
when you know it's not really true?
Right. Now, strictly it's not true.
Yeah, that's like the bless your heart statement in a way, right? That's what we learned in the South. Gus, did you want to?
Yeah, I want to go back to something that you said that actually helps in this.
Oh, okay.
And that is what is skillful and what is it? Buddha eschews beyond judgments and saying this is good, this is bad, and this is good, and this is evil, but more like what works. And if your idea is to show love and kindness to someone and to support them with your speech or listening, which I really like, it be skillful about it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, skill requires meditation, because you have to know where you are, and you have to appreciate the other person's somebody else.
Yes. I think, skillful. And I think even Gil Fronsdal may have said that I think the Buddha even used the words, it's about, your speech being beneficial to that person. So if you know something about that person, or maybe not even, you're going to know to say, if this person is saying something about themselves and you know, well, it's not quite true, how is you disagreeing with them going to help the situation? And I guess for me, it always goes back to the space between human beings, between us. I don't even have to know a person, but if this person is saying, oh, I look fabulous today, and I'm thinking, oh man, you look like a hot mess, that's going to create conflict, right? Now, there are sometimes some of us where we are like, that's what we may do. There are people that like to be in conflict, right? And create that for whatever reason, you know? So that's what they do. But, you know, even that person can learn to step back and think, how is this really helping me to create conflict and disagree, as well as to be right? Is it so important that I'm right? You know, this person is living their life and going about thinking they're fabulous, you know? Do I need to challenge that, really? You know, is it my job? You know, there's another phrase like, it's not my rodeo. So is it really my job to go around and correct how people look or how they act? But I think it is really looking at how is what I say, and again, this is very hard, how what I say is going to have an impact on the space between. The space between. You know, certainly if you have a close relationship with someone, you know, or spouse or whoever, family member, you may be able to give that kind of feedback. But even that, I mean, there's things I don't always tell my husband, you know, so because I'm conscious of the quality of my relationship, I guess, which in my 20s I wasn't. I just blurt out stupid stuff. But now I think about it. I don't know, does that help? Yeah. You're welcome to. Yes.
I'm referencing the Lotus Sutra, where it talks about how if there's a fire in the house and your kids are just playing because they're having fun and they're caught in the middle of playing, you know, they're in their own world and they're happy,
Yeah.
but the house is on fire.
Yes.
And you tell them, get out, but they don't do it. So I think it talks about skillful means, and you use skillful means to get them out of the house. And in that example, it talks about how the person could say, hey, there's gardens full of treasure outside. Let's go outside.
Yeah.
And then I think later it talks about how you should probably provide that too, so you're not like,
Yeah.
trying to make a plan for it. But,
Yeah.
And I'm a mother to 3 really young kids, so sometimes things come up where it's just like, I can't tell you the full truth about that, but I can tell you a story about it.
Yes.
And like, for example, when they were really little, I would tell them, you came from the stars. You chose me. And like, you know,
Yeah.
they know that, you know, they didn't fall to shooting stars. But they also like want to accept that story. So like, they go along with it, and I think that it's not about lying, it's about what story you want to tell. Because, you know, a story isn't always, you know, a tall tale isn't always the truth, but you usually know. So it's like if you have to say, well, they look like a hot mess, maybe you can focus on, like, oh my gosh, like, I love those earrings. Like, those are a great color. Maybe
Exactly.
that's the only thing working.
Exactly.
But it's like, you know, because my youngest, he's 5, and he wears 1 boot and 1 shoe. Or, you know, he turns his pants in half, and that's how he wears it.
That's right.
Intentional.
That's right, yeah.
And it's just like, if someone has a vibe like that, you don't want to ruin it, but at the same time, like, yeah, that like authenticity. So it's just like, how much of a story do I want to tell? You know what I mean?
I really appreciate the story because actually, I mean, when you look at the Buddha, the teachings, they're what? They're stories.
Yeah.
They're all metaphor. Jesus spoke in stories, parables, because that was the way to educate and communicate to all people in a way that they could understand. And so storytelling, even in other traditions, Native American, story is a primary method of communication, and stories are actually seen as quite sacred. So I really appreciate what you're saying, because that is a way, you're not lying, you're not being manipulative, but you're trying to speak in a language that maybe the other person can appreciate, right? Or they can understand. And even with children.
It takes you the personal out of it.
Absolutely.
So you get to live through the character a little
Absolutely. Yeah. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, I really enjoyed your speech. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'd love to read it and hear it again. I was thinking that a lot of speech, right speech, I think comes, or moving towards it, comes from a place of woundedness in a way. And we sustain those wounds by our perceptions. So could you talk more about how to move towards right speech when perhaps we're not even aware of those wounds?
Oh my, yeah. Well, I can say, I mean, as a therapist, I've done a lot of work with people, and I think most of us as human beings, while we may not have an official diagnosis, I think we've all had some kind of wound or trauma, right? Something that we've experienced in our life, and so that sore space in there, if it doesn't find a way to let itself known, in a healthy way. So whether that's talking about it, writing about it, writing can be another form of right speech. In a way, writing is a way to find your speech, But I think that the wounding can make, if you don't work on it some way, to heal it, and that may even be, when you come here for meditation, wounds can be healed through your body just by sitting here and breathing. But the point is to find a way to heal that, to allow that wounding to take form, whether it's coming out in words or visually or however that is. And then learning how to find your words, to find your words. Again, not the words of other people, not the words maybe that you were told as a child that hurt you, but your words. I know telling my grandson, right, use your words. He's 5. Use your words, right? And even as adults, we still struggle with that, finding my words. So that's how you slowly start learning how to heal some of that. But it's a really long process, and even what we're talking about, and I mean, Bhante, Amita may correct me, but I think, the Buddha, this is, the Eightfold Path takes like your lifetime, right, to be able to learn these things or master these aspects, right? It's not supposed to happen overnight. At least I hope not. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I think that it's healing wounds and so forth involves not just talking, but a lot of different other aspects of your life and finding a way to express that,
How about doing that with, say, your children, the adult children, so we know their wounds, some of them.
Yeah.
And guiding them, is it just like your example, kind of set the way, hope they follow, or if there's not right speech coming from them?
Well, right. And I think sometimes, that's why this kind of what we're doing here, or finding people that you are close to practice what is right speech, learning, what does that mean? But I also think it really comes from inside of us, understanding what is my truth, what is my speech, what are the words I say, because, if we can't speak with right speech to ourselves, how are we going to be able to speak that to other people, And so, learning and practicing what sounds authentic. I think it's probably time, right? So I appreciate all of your questions very much. Thank you so much for letting me share my thoughts.